Hey. Mm-hmm. No. Let me
Goodbye and open.
see if I can.
You're up.
I don't know if he said anything, but he did. I didn't hear it.
Oh, how about now?
Oh, now it's good. So my friend is just here in the house. So I might have to say goodbye to her in a few minutes when she's leaving.
Okay.
My little.
It's a little pumpkin.
You're in a world of blur again, I think.
The world of blur, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool. How do you do that?
It's one of the Zoom effects, I think.
Video filters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must play with them sometime. Actually, this background is not my real background. It's like
You're not really sitting by a beautiful window.
no, not
My my shirt has Buddha saying
Oh, I can't see the words. Oh, the words got blurred.
there's no words.
Oh, there's
It's
no words.
just
He's just saying
it's
shush.
yeah, it's just Buddha asking for quiet, yeah.
Um, so we're on chapter 38, and I reminded myself just now of the greatness of this treatise.
Yeah. And Ribhu is trying to wrap things up here, but I think he's just too into it.
Mm.
It's too beautiful, and he just keeps going a bit. Shall I start?
Yeah, I'm just going to mute my microphone just because there might be a few little noises here and there.
Okay. With conclusive certitude, I shall tell you about the greatness of this treatise, which is the essence of all varieties of treatises, the quintessence of all essences, the most secret, the extremely rare, in a manner you can appreciate, without illusions. Always practice the teachings of this worthy treatise without fail, and with that as your goal. I am ever existence alone, there's no doubt of this. I am ever consciousness alone, there's no doubt of this. I am ever bliss alone, there's no doubt of this. I am ever pure awareness, there is no doubt of this. I am ever wholly complete, there is no doubt of this. I am ever the highest of the high, there's no doubt of this. I am ever the supreme Shiva, there's no doubt of this. I'm ever the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. Whatever exists is the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. Whatever does not exist is the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. All is the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. You and I are the supreme Brahman, there is no doubt of this. Everything is the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. The real and the unreal are the supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this. The entirety of is the supreme Brahman, there is no doubt of this. I am that supreme Brahman, there's no doubt of this.
I think it's really powerful. Like there is no doubt of this. Like there's no doubt. Well, he's saying he's absolutely sure, absolutely certain. Okay. That's pretty powerful statement to make. Can I read it?
Yeah?
All indeed is of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, existence alone, and not different from the self. Brahman indeed is the self. The self indeed is the undifferentiated nature of the Supreme Brahman. There is not the least difference between the blemishless, all-pervasive self and the all-complete, perfectly full Brahman. Both are the same. In the name of Shiva, of the nature of awareness, what is said is the truth. All names and forms are Brahman, and we are that Brahman. There is not the least doubt about this explanation declared for the welfare of all. This is the truth. In the name of the great truth, Shiva, the all-pervasive, transcending all abodes, without the least doubt about this as yes or no, be of the steadfast certitude as aforesaid. All the appearances, mobile and immobile, are of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, the reality. That immemorial nature is myself indeed. Attaining such complete certitude, and thereby removing all the intractable misapprehensions, attaining the delusionless knowledge of the blemishless Absolute, and becoming of the nature of the afflictionless Supreme Brahman, changelessly abide in yourself. This state of changeless abidance in yourself is the pure, supreme liberation. Tossing like the wave without abidance in oneself alone is bondage. If looked into deeply, other than yourself, the one existence, there is not an iota of any cause for change. Hence, blessed one, you should ever abide in yourself by yourself. Very joyful.
It's very joyful.
Okay, I'm gonna let you read it.
As the means of abiding in oneself by oneself is the attainment of the certitude of the undifferentiated, undivided absolute, and all appearances arising as apart from oneself, as never being anything apart, and of all being the self, and the self is oneself. By holding fast to the certitude of the undivided absolute, as aforesaid, become the undifferentiated absolute. There is nothing apart from yourself, the self. It is certain that all is yourself indeed. I'm declaring this after investigating all the scriptures. This is the definite supreme truth. Touching the pair of feet of that exalted Shiva, I say unto you, this is the undoubted certitude. Touching the feet of the Guru, I say unto you, this is the certitude of the crest of the Vedas. Holding a heated battle axe on my tongue, I asseverate this. There's no doubt in what I say. This certitude of the undivided absolute is the greatest acquisition of all knowers of truth. Pure One, therefore, attaining forever the certitude of the undifferentiated, undivided absolute without doubts, and thereby becoming the absolute self, be always in unequaled bliss. Are you saying goodbye? Do You want to get up and give a hug?
Now we said goodbye already.
Okay.
Before we
Okay.
started.
Changeless certitude is the unparalleled means for attaining the state of undivided bliss. As you progress more and more in this exalted certitude, the duality of the world and such will disappear. If the appearance of despicable duality recedes, spotless bliss will spontaneously arise. Remain with fearless certitude, attaining thereby undivided, supreme bliss. You are indeed of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, all existence. You are indeed of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, the changeless. You indeed are of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, all consciousness. You indeed are of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, consciousness bliss. You indeed are of the nature of the faultless Supreme Brahman. You indeed are of the nature of the perfectly full Supreme Brahman. You indeed are of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, which is that. You indeed are of the nature of the Supreme Brahman, which is unimpeded.
I have told you this great secret explanation, as expounded to me by our Lord. Revered sage, there is no doubt in what I have said. I repeat this thrice. This is the truth. Always assiduously practicing the certitude of the undivided absolute with nothing apart, and becoming of the nature of the pure supreme Brahman, abide in perfectly full bliss. I have told you this definition, rare for even the gods, sages, and yogis to know, graciously bestowed upon me as the gift of the sacred supreme Shiva. Hence, always assiduously practicing the certitude of the undivided absolute, and becoming of the nature of the sufferingless supreme Brahman alone, abide in sorrowless bliss. Nidagha, I have fearlessly communicated to you the knowledge of the supreme Brahman, communicated earlier to me as a gift by the Lord of all the worlds, on the spotless Mount Kailash, for the benefit of all beings. Be aware that it is very rare in all the three worlds to obtain this knowledge. Once the Lord, ensconced facing the southern direction at Dakshinamurti, Shiva southward facing, symbol of silent wisdom and abidance, wise and formless, taught this sublime knowledge to the gods for 1,000 years, to strengthen their comprehension. To fortify this sublime knowledge, Ishvara, the Lord of all the world, taught it assiduously to the embodiment of grace, the Devi, for a year. What does assiduously mean?
Good question. Good question. Let's
To
let's
the
find out
embodiment of
here.
grace, the Devi. Maybe just like repeatedly he taught her over and over again.
Showing great care and perseverance.
Mm.
Yeah, she was assiduous in pointing out every feature. So showing great care.
Great attention to detail.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're the goddess. Because Ribhu has been singing to us for like a year. You said recently in the praying. That's us, the Devi. Vinayaka taught this elaborately to his disciples for several years. Hari graciously taught this to Brahma, the creator, for a long time in the ocean of milk. Once I taught this defectless knowledge to my father in Brahma Loka. Once I explained this clearly and elaborately to Narada and other sages. In compassion with you as the first and for the benefit of all the people of the world, I have truly expounded this treatise that so easily lays bare the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, as earlier communicated to me by the Lord, without any abridgment or elaboration. Equal to this treatise, there is none anywhere. This is great, yeah, the greatness of this treatise, saying how great it is. There's nothing as good as this.
I
Blessed
don't
one.
I don't know what to make of the ocean of milk. I
I
just
think it's just a story like in kind of the Hindu mythology.
okay.
I don't really know, but like I think I might have heard it before. They just there's all these different stories. So I'm sure if you looked up Brahma and the ocean of milk, there'd be some story.
Okay. Okay,
I
got
don't
it.
know exactly what that is, but
Okay.
I don't really think it's important because the whole thing is it doesn't exist anyway.
Hmm.
That's the whole. If we're getting the lesson, then we shouldn't get caught up in the details.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's my
Fair
way.
enough.
Yeah.
No, no, thank
So,
you.
I see a goat in this.
dear, great, great. Blessed one, no other treatise will confer such unimpeded knowledge like this treatise with its special characteristics. Other great works will only by steps confer the knowledge of the undivided absolute. But this honoured treatise alone will quickly confer the knowledge of the differenceless Supreme Brahman. Because of this, there is no treatise equal to this anywhere. There is nothing to equal a single foot of the poetry in this treatise. Can there be anything anywhere to equal the other feet? What can compare with this teaching, which explains this matchless knowledge of the undivided absolute? Therefore, put into practice this wonderful treatise with total dedication. It reminds me of something that like Muji often says, like something like, if you discover this truth, like no one has ever wished that they didn't discover it or wanted to give it back. you know, like so in a way, like these words are the best. Like, like this treaty is the best because of what it's pointing to.
Hmm.
Like it's pointing always just to the truth and to be free of illusions. So of course, like you wouldn't trade that for anything. No one has ever traded that for anything. Maybe they have, I don't know.
Hmm.
The
Beautiful.
fruit carefully garnered by properly performing millions of fire sacrifices and bathing in millions of sacred streams cannot equal the fruit of studying even 1 foot of this poetry. Can we compare the fruit resulting from the giving of this gift to the entire world to the constant study of 2 feet of poetry in this treatise? Glorifying. Rightly so. I just have to check something for a moment. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Oh, back.
Gifts of all varieties will not equal the fruit of properly studying 3 feet of the amazing poetry in this wondrous rare treatise. There's nothing anywhere to equal the study of one stanza with due attention. Is there anything to equal the good fortune of attaining the experience of this, even once? even if not competent by nature to listen to and understand the substance of a treatise of this quality. If one even just daily read with sincerity this blemishless work, such a reader would also progressively attain undivided knowledge and thereby become liberated. This is the truth. Hence, casting aside everything, always take to the practice of what is expressed in this treatise. On this side, it's not so much casting aside as just other desires, certainly just falling away. It's yeah, beautiful.
Like I saw a video the other day. I think or maybe I didn't even see the video. I think it might have been a photograph and some words underneath or something. And it was Muji talking to somebody, and I don't know what they were saying. This is just what sticks out in my mind. But he's basically saying, like, don't worry, grace will take care of everything. Grace is taking away all your delusions. Like purely just really it's just because you want it. Like you're here, you're right with the teaching, you're right with the truth is in your heart. So like if a delusion appears in your mind or your life, like it's nothing to worry about. No, I don't know what the words are, but that was the essence of it, and I just think it's so nice.
Yeah,
Very true.
you're saying grace will take it away, I think. Nails it.
And in a way, like time is enjoyable. Time is kind of like a gift. It's like you get to see all that. Like you don't have to worry about delusions. It's like you can see delusions, perhaps maybe coming, but you know that they're not going to stay with you. Like they're kind of meaningless. Really.
Would you like to read? Should I continue?
You can continue for a while if you like.
This is verse 24 then.
Just seeing how many verses there.
Yeah, we're not going to get through the chapter today. I don't think so. Renouncing all charity and virtuous conduct, renouncing all sacred streams and shrines, renouncing all kinds of mantra repetition, rituals, magic, renouncing all great mantra and tantra, renouncing all honored gods and all worship of gods, and renouncing all kinds of treatises, always take to the study of this treatise. Casting aside all kinds of history, casting aside all kinds of action, casting aside all kinds of yoga, casting aside all kinds of philosophy, casting aside diverse varieties of devotion, casting aside all specialized approaches, and casting aside all kinds of works. Always take to the study of this treatise. Casting aside all varied religions, casting aside the variety of ideas, casting aside all manner of secret doctrines, casting aside the service to all, casting aside all kinds of holy acts, casting aside all good fortune, and casting aside all haunting doubts, ever take to the study of this treatise. Casting aside the legion of lessons, casting aside all manner of habits, casting aside the various worlds, casting aside the peerless guru, casting aside whatever is of here and the hereafter, casting aside whatever is thought of as something else, and casting aside all debilitating doubts, ever take to the study of this treatise. I'm feeling my head just quietly nodding.
Which verse are you on now?
28 is next. Do you want to read?
Yeah. This treatise is indeed the supreme Brahman. take to the study thereof with interest. What is the use of studying far too many texts? Is there any use of several lamps before the brilliance of the sun? If you always thoroughly study this one treatise, the results of any text can be attained by this alone. There is not a shred of doubt about this. All distortions will be destroyed by this treatise. All veiling will be peeled off by this treatise. I don't know how to say this word. Quiescence. How do you say?
Quiescence. Quiescence.
I think you've told me so many times that I just don't want to stay in.
Yeah.
Quiescence in consciousness will be realized by this treatise. Is it like quietude?
Yeah. Settling.
The repose of thought will result by this treatise. Undivided supreme knowledge will ensue with this treatise. All ignorance will be dispelled by this treatise. The originalist bondage of worldly existence will be obliterated by this treatise, and undivided supreme liberation will unfold with this treatise. And it's simply just to have the certitude that you and everything that appears and everything that doesn't appear is the Supreme Brahman. Be sure of this. It says it will result in liberation, and it also is liberation in itself. It's like that thing again, it's like the means and the end are the same. But maybe when the means is there, like maybe it seems like there's things, but we're just like reminding ourselves, like, so maybe it seems like we're looking at a computer, but really the computer is brown. It seems like a computer because we've added that label, but like we don't know what a computer is. It's just a word. Even that word computer, it's like it's nothing. Computer. It's like it's really nice if you listen to a language that you don't understand, and you just hear sounds. Like you can just hear the sounds and you can enjoy it in a totally different way than listening to a language that you understand. It's like it means something, when you think you understand it. But otherwise, it's just like or whatever. It just makes some funny sounds. I don't know. I had a little bit of a French tone to it.
I'm going to get to do a lot of that in German and Portuguese.
Yeah.
It's coming.
All duality will die out by this treatise. Pure non-duality will prevail with this treatise. The knot of the heart will be set at naught by this treatise. The concept of life will find its culmination with this treatise. All the misery of mundane existence will melt away with this treatise. Supreme happiness will surge up by this treatise. All attachment will be annihilated by this treatise, and the abode supreme can be attained with this treatise. And we just have this treatise right here in our hands. What did we do to deserve this? Whoever is listening to it, what did we do to deserve this? You don't even have to do anything to deserve it. If this treatise is regularly read, at least once daily, it failed me. I didn't read it once daily.
Take another chance.
With dedicated discipline, even by one who is not equipped to study and ponder over and assimilate the meaning of this treatise. all the sins committed in endless existences will be completely eliminated in that birth, and attaining profound, undivided, supreme knowledge, he will abide as the nature of the taintless supreme. I think it's okay even if you don't read it once daily. It's like if you have the essence of it daily in your heart. That I can say I do. It's
That
not
essence.
necessarily even the words of the song of Ribhu need to be like at least once daily. It's the essence of what it's pointing to, and that's the attitude that it's pointing to, and maybe it's even just that kind of dedication to truth or whatever. Even that, if that's with you every day, then that's not your life. I think all the time, not really just once a day. I think like all the time. Like, I'm very well. But maybe it can never be all the time, you know. I love the way Ananta used to say when he used to start sharing something at first, like there's no 100%. But in a way, that's really good, you know, because there's no 100%. That like 1% of the time, or 5% of the time, or 50% of the time, it doesn't really matter. That's kind of like keeps your heart on fire. Like you're on fire for truth the whole time. And if you see something like some kind of way of being in yourself that gets lazy, like you're for a minute, like you kind of take something to be separate, or you for a moment you take someone to be separate from you and treat them as if they're other, then it's like it's not gonna feel good, you know, and it's kind of like it's just an opportunity to bring that really into your being.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So I don't know, I'm not really aiming for like any 100% in myself. It's like it's fine, like it doesn't really matter because there is 100% there at the same time. I think like the grace is 100%. The grace is 100%. So maybe if I recognize that grace 100%, I don't know if that's like it could be possible to recognize it 100% of the time, but like maybe the recognition of the grace being there 100% doesn't happen in a human life. Maybe it does, but the grace is, I can say, like definitely always there. It doesn't. So it doesn't really matter what happens in your life if you seem to forget about it for a minute. Like it's not a big deal.
The grace brought Amba here. How beautiful.
Yeah, Grace did. Grace did everything. Grace brought Steve here.
Yeah.
Brought this book. Grace brought everything.
There you go.
One who hears this even once in his lifetime will attain liberation. There is none in this world to equal. One who reads this regularly daily. Hence, rare sage, casting aside the endless texts with no authority whatever, all who have the urge for liberation should, without a day's discontinuance, take to the study of this spotless treatise. Observe that this treatise is the essence of the ultimate conclusion of all scripture. This differenceless treatise is the settled conclusion of all Vedas and Vedanta. This honored treatise is the final conclusion of all the sages imbued with perfectly full knowledge. This revered treatise is the fitting finale, graciously gifted to us by our Lord. Really like a celebration, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the finale of the whole drama of life. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the finale. It is the song of Ribhu. Everything is Brahman.
And he's putting a stamp on it as if,
Yeah.
you know, for
It's a
sure
nice finale. I think it's a nice way to finish up.
And I would underline my limited knowledge of the Vedas to say the introduction here says Ribhu appears elsewhere in the Vedas. The Ribhu character is somewhere else in the
Yeah.
long story that culminates here.
Mhm.
It's just interesting.
But I think the culmination, at least in my mind, the culmination is not this song of not him saying everything, but the culmination is in being in that what it points to. The
Mm,
culmination is like for the remainder of this human life that we see everything as Brahman.
mm,
So we're seeing more truly. So it doesn't matter if you're seeing pictures or not. You're not seeing pictures. It doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed. It doesn't matter if you're asleep or awake because you're one with Brahman. Your everything is the same,
mm,
and that's why it's such a great finale. So it used to be a play of like other, and used to be everything used to be different and dramatic. But then all of a sudden, then this teaching appears, and then everything kind of calms down, like that word quiescence. Everything calms down, and then finally, like you're not only seeing God, but you're seeing through the eyes of God.
mm.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good finale. Well, yeah. Woo! I'm imagining them like sitting watching a play or something. It's such a wonderful finale, and like our hearts get full of joy.
Mm.
We can't suffer anymore. So that's pretty good. We can't get into the drama anymore. That's what it meant for me.
Shall I read 34? Start
Yeah,
from there.
sure.
This is the most recondite of the recondite. This is the essence of the essences of all. This is the rarest of the rare in the world. This is the most marvelous message. This is the dispeller of all doubts. This is the bestower of the changeless certitude. This is the destroyer of all debilitating duality. This is what confers the natural state, sahaja, without a second.
I like that. Sahaja is the place where Moody lives. It's called Sahaja. Monte Sahaja. I think Sahaja means, does it mean like simplicity or
Um,
natural state? I think Sahaja means natural state.
yeah, yeah, and that's
Like you're in your natural state, like your natural state being it. So someone wrote me a message the other day and they said, do you live in Sahaja? And I wrote back, no, I do not live in Sahaja. But then afterwards I was thinking, well, yes, I do live in Sahaja. Well, I knew what they meant, like I knew what they meant. Or like I thought I knew what they meant. So I should have just said yes. The term Sahaja in Sanskrit comes from two words, Saha meaning with and Ja meaning born. The term yoga means union, the ultimate union with the divine or the universe, and hence in Hindu terms liberation. These two words can be translated as primordial mother or Holy Ghost. That was like a mixture of words. It didn't really make much sense. Oh, because they're talking about Sahaja yoga, not like the meaning of the word. I'm pretty sure it says only. Came up only. I'm pretty sure maybe it means lots of different things in different languages, but for I think it means natural state. For me, it means natural state. That's what I say. For me, doesn't matter. Anything can like anything can mean anything. Anything you want to me. I know we tend to have agreed upon meanings. Hold on. Okay. Oh,
What you say?
Yes. I think we could end now.
Okay.
Does that feel okay for you?
Yeah, it feels fine because as we get just a few more not chapters, but a few more verses, and in verse 42, Ribhu finally says, I have said all that I have to say. So I look forward to the transition between him and Nadaga.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's not as if we won't hear anything ever again in this treatise
Yeah.
from Ribhu, but he does invite Nadaga to speak in just a few more verses.
Yeah, and I see that as well. The next chapter is like called Nadaga's eulogy in loving wonder of the grace of the Guru and description of his wonderful direct experience of the undivided awareness. So it must be Nadaga talking about pretty much the same things as
The
Ribhu, probably.
the 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 chapters from Nadaga I could just relish for all
Really?
time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no memory of them. I'm sure I have read them before.
Uh, well, it's gonna get it's juicy so far, and it's gonna get even juicier.
Well, good. Look forward to it.
Me too.
Thank you for being here today.
Mm, thank you for making the time. I know you're busy.
Mhm. It's my pleasure.
Okay, till next time, love.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.